Judge Melissa Damon granted Broward County Sheriff's Office an extension to respond to Melly's lawsuit. A deposition of a jail guard on Melly's treatment has been released to the public. BSO replied saying Melly has over 100 infractions in jail. In the deposition in the later half of this video, Melly's team grills this jail guard about what's going on in his treatment. Apparently there's an open investigation and Melly got like a deputy and some nerdy technician in jail in trouble. Like, a deputy had to resign over this. So yeah, some serious shit happened. Stick around for this whole video. Hit subscribe. Here we go. All right, first thing we got here is a motion for extension of time and motion to exceed the page limit under Local Rule 7.1. Pursuant to Federal Rule of Civil Procedure 6B1A and Florida Local Rule 7.1, Gregory Tony, in his official capacity as Sheriff of Broward County, Florida, BSO respondent, moves this court for an extension of time to file a responsive pleading to plaintiff's petition for a writ of habeas corpus. A motion to exceed the page limit. So the page limit... in my last video about Melly, it can't exceed 10 pages for some reason, so they want to get around that rule. Petitioner Jamel Demons filed a petition for writ of habeas corpus, seeking release of custody of Broward County Sheriff's Office for what he claims are violations of his rights to counsel under the 6th Amendment, amongst other allegations. Petitioner is currently being held in pre-trial detention for pending capital homicide charges for allegations that petitioner killed 2 of his friends early in the morning of October 26, 2018, over 6 years ago. Think about how insane that is. 6 years. I still can't believe that every time I read it. October 2018. Think about what all of y'all were doing on October 2018, dude. What was I doing? I don't know what I was doing, dude. I was making videos every day still, but that's it. Not living where I live now. I lived across the country. Pending homicide case is docketed. His other pending criminal case, a witness tampering case, in which he alleged to have tampered with witnesses for his pending homicide case while in BSO's custody, amongst other allegations, is also pending. He's being held without bond. This court issued a show cause order to respond as to why the petitioner should be not released and provide a memorandum of law. In fact, all documents and transcripts necessary for the resolution of this petition. This court ordered response filed by December 6. The undersigned was recently assigned to this matter by the respondent and filed a notice of appearance on November 25th. Good cause exists to grant an extension of time as the Sheriff's Office needs additional time to fully brief this court and gather all necessary transcripts, documentation, and other evidence that details the circumstances that gradually led to petitioner's current confinement status and his loss of privileges. Inmates in BSO's custody, just like in any other jail, can and do get sanctioned if they violate jail rules or the inmate code of conduct, which can lead to loss of privileges and to different confinement status. Petitioner is not immune to the jail rules. But for 3 years, though... Apparently this has been going on for 1,000 days when he's presumed innocent. That's different, right? He's being punished for 3 years straight. I mean, I understand like getting punished for a few months or something, like going to the hole or solitary confinement or whatever, dude. Or taking away his phone privileges for a few weeks or something, but 3 years? The main thrust of petitioner's petition for writ of habeas corpus is that BSO's actions for imposing restrictions on petitioner for his numerous disciplinary issues and numerous abuses of his phone privileges over the past 4 years while being held by BSO in pretrial confinement violates his 8th Amendment right to be free from cruel and unusual punishment and violates his 6th Amendment right to counsel. BSO strongly disagrees with this characterization that BSO's legitimate security actions constitute cruel and unusual punishment or that his right to counsel has been violated during the pendency of his criminal cases. But is it true, though, that you haven't been letting him talk to his attorneys? Is that true? Yes or no? Because that's what the accusation is. In either event, adequately detailing and compiling the petitioner's approximately 100 rules and fractions. Holy shit. Melly violated 100 different rules? No way. And phone privileges abuses over the course of 4 years that led to petitioner being sanctioned, to his phone privileges being curtailed, and also separate pending criminal charges and investigations for witness tampering, pending under Broward case, and other relevant facts will require more than what the court is currently allocated for Broward Sheriff's Office to file a response. 100 rules? Is that real? If bro violated 100 rules, he's tripping. It's not 100 different rules. It's 100 different infractions. You know what I mean. The undersigned has not reviewed the petitioner's full disciplinary history and related records. The undersigned and the undersigned's paralegal has ordered trial transcripts which are relevant to BSO's response. Trial transcripts? Why would they need that? Interesting. 60% of you aren't subscribed. Come on, hit the subscribe bell. They haven't received those trial transcripts yet. Additionally, the undersigned has not been able to speak with many of the BSO jail staff who are knowledgeable about the petitioner's disciplinary history and the circumstances that led to his jail privileges being curtailed. The undersigned anticipates several will be unavailable to speak with for the next few days due to Thanksgiving and the holidays. In order to detail these 4 years of circumstances, the petitioner's extremely long disciplinary history and BSO jail system while he has been held in pretrial confinement, with all other investigations relating to his conduct and to brief this court and all relevant legal issues, including numerous other legal issues not directed to the merits of this petition. Respondent BSO requests 20-page limit. So they want 20 pages instead of 10. is what we're getting at here. Counsel for BSO is requesting leave of court to file up to 30 pages. Wait, what? So is it 20 or 30? I didn't understand. The undersigned counsel spoke with petitioner's counsel and he agreed to counsel's request to extend the local rules page limit and agree to BSO's request for 30 pages. Okay. Petitioner's counsel did not agree to the requested 10-day extension of time. So Melly's team was pissed about the extension of time, which that's obvious, right? Petitioner will suffer no prejudice by this brief delay or for the page limit being exceeded, and respondent BSO would suffer extreme prejudice if not given at least 10 more days to file a response. And this was approved, by the way. Shout out Bryson Paul, by the way. Follow him on Twitter. Judge Melissa Damian granted this motion for extension. Conference hearing on the response is set for January 17th. So in about 5 weeks. So this is Sergeant Raymond Beltran, and I recognize that name. He might have testified in the last trial. I don't know. His deposition has come out about this situation, I think. I'm not sure if it's about this situation or the entire case, but he's a jail guard, so he might know more about what Melly's been going through, essentially. And I'm sure he's gonna say it's all bullshit or something. Deposition of Raymond Beltran. How do you know Mr. Demmons? He's currently incarcerated with Broward Sheriff's Office at the main jail. Do you have personal interactions with him? I've had. He's emergency response team commander in the jail. Whenever we have a high-risk transport or high-risk hospital detail, I usually coordinate all of that. Specifically ever assigned to Mr. Demmons? Yes. When would that be? I want to say it was between May of 24 and August maybe. Okay, so recently. You've transported him? I have. To and from the courtroom? Absolutely. So May 2024, would you have been started transporting him and started interacting with him? I wouldn't know a specific day. And so it was 24 hours a day that you were basically shadowing him, correct? During that time. What do you mean by shadowing? Well, you watched him. Yes, care, custody, and control. So what was the purpose of watching him 24 hours a day? It's just like a regular housing deputy when they're in a housing unit. So a housing deputy in a housing unit has 3 units, 30 inmates, 20 inmates, 3 inmates, whatever it is. Being housed at Paul Rein, correct? Correct. And prior to May 24, he was being housed in the main jail, correct? Yes. Do you know why he was moved from main jail to Paul Rein? So this is an interesting question because I was very confused about this when it was reported that he got transported. Yes and no, but I have some idea. Elucidate, please. Okay, inmate Demmons had phone restrictions. Also, he had visit restrictions. He had some charges where he was tampering with witnesses. The accumulation of all these things is what made him get housed in Paul Rein. So it was phone restrictions, correct? It was quite a few things. It was not just phone restrictions. So I just want to itemize. We have phone restrictions, but that was one of the, it's not the phone restrictions. It's what came up to the phone restrictions. Him using other people's PIN numbers, other people using his PIN to make phone calls and all those things. Doesn't that happen in like every jail? Don't other people use PIN numbers for other people all the time? I'm pretty sure I've heard that as a common occurrence even in the YSL trial and other trials before. The infraction of using other people's pens, right? I didn't actually see that. So is that actually an infraction in the jail's handbook? In the handbook, I want to say it's A22. It has to do something phone privileges. The misuse of a phone device, I want to say. I could be wrong. Is there any restrictions in that handbook that are punishment that go over 30 days? You're referencing to a DR. Yeah, if you're aware. If he's received a DR, yeah, no. So it's usually a 30-day punishment for a DR. Yeah, yes. So we are looking and is using his pens to call people. Who was he calling? Several people. But what was the issue? Granting he was using other people's pens, but that was the issue, ma'am. Just using other people's pens. Just using other people's pens. And one of his phone restrictions came about he's not to use the phone and he's still having other people use the phone for him. So those are the issues. Do you recall the first time his pen was taken from him? No. Do you know if after his phone pen was taken from him, the first time he ever given it back? I don't know. So the other thing you said, so he gets moved to Paul Rein because of using the phone, right? Not what I said. I said it was an accumulation of things he did. Okay. There's other things I can't talk about because I believe it's an open investigation. Oh, so there's an open investigation. I believe. I'm not sure if it's open or not. What the fuck is going on? How long has there been an open investigation? I want to say back to May, but I don't know if it's open. In that case, it's probably, I don't know if it's open or closed. It's probably open. This guy just realized he's like, oh, fuck, I notified them of an open investigation. I shouldn't have done that. He's like backtracking now. So what is Melly doing in there, bro? They're acting like he's still scheming, like maybe witness tampering shit or something. It was not against Mr. Demmons. It was against deputies. What? It's not about Mr. Demmons. There was an open investigation about a deputy and I want to say a tech. What? Deputies and a tech. Do you know anything about it? Miss Buckaloo is the new blonde prosecutor who don't play no games. Aldestein is his bald lawyer that we saw in the last trial. That would be for his legal advisor to answer. Do you know anything about it? It's with pending internal investigation. This is a attorney for the state right here, I believe. It's pending with IA, internal affairs. What? That's crazy. I'm gonna be honest, boys. My head hurts. I need to book a doctor's appointment through ZocDoc.com/CUFBOYS. Don't you just hate having to call a doctor's office to book your doctor's appointment? Well, ZocDoc is the solution for you, boys. Listen up. ZocDoc is a 100% free app and website where you can search and compare in-network high-quality doctors. Choose the right one for your needs and click and instantly book an appointment. We're talking about in-network appointments with over 100,000 healthcare providers across any specialty. From mental health to dental health to eye care to skin care and so much more. You can filter for doctors that take your insurance and are nearby. And sometimes you can get same day appointments, which I told you guys last week. I literally got a same day consultation for my wisdom teeth removal. You can actually see their time slots that are open, pick one, and then book it instantly. Plus, ZocDoc appointments happen fast, typically within 24 and 72 hours. I'm looking you in the eyes right now and telling you this is 100% the best app or website to use to book a doctor's appointment. So stop putting off those doctor's appointments and go to ZocDoc.com/CUFBOYS to find and instantly book a top-rated doctor today. That's ZocDoc.com/CUFBOYS, ZocDoc.com/CUFBOYS. The deputy resigned. The other one is a detention tech that is pending determination, and that's related to conduct. Melly, related to Melly? Yes. What's going on with Melly? And he pretty much got 2 deputies fired. What? But nothing Mr. Demmons did. It was their conduct. Oh, Mr. Demmons did stuff. What did he do? It's an open investigation I can't talk about. We're going to make a Brady request as it relates to Melly and we'll file it. I don't have any of that stuff. You can get public records from BSO. I believe it's your obligation. These are your witnesses. It's a pending investigation, Ms. Bucklew says. I don't have anything on pending investigation. It's not how it works. Was there anybody else involved with this investigation who has been discharged? What do you mean discharged? Has anybody involved with this investigation been discharged from their jobs? No, I do not know. Well, one of them resigned. That means basically he was like told to resign probably. I think it was one deputy. What did the deputy do? I can't talk about it. And then one tech? Yes. What was the word? Detention tech. Detention technician. They're the ones that type up the day-to-day goings of the day basically in the control room. Then you say because he was tampering with witnesses, he was also moved to Paul Rein. I said an accumulation of things. I'm not saying they didn't go to him and say because you did those things you're going there. Who made this decisions? I do not know. Were you the one making decisions for his treatment at Paul Rein? Elaborate, please. So, for example, when any of his defense counsel showed up at Paul Rein and we were to talk upstairs, there were announcements made over the loudspeaker. There's no movement in the entire facility as any of his legal team was moving on the floor. Who made that decision? A speaker would say no movement? Everyone stand still or some shit? Stay where you're at? What? I don't know who ultimately made that decision, but yes, I know about that. And there came a time when Mr. Demmons was in Paul Rein that he had an ERT assigned to him 24-hour days, correct? Yes. He said it was no different than, what was the word, a floor deputy? Yes, a housing deputy. Is there anybody else in Paul Rein that had an ERT assigned to them? No. So why would Mr. Demmons have an ERT assigned? Due to his behavior, ma'am. Accumulation of things that I told you. So I did do a public request on the different disciplinary reports. I did not see one in 2024. So could you tell me, you said his behavior, I actually could not find anything after 2023. So during this time frame, what DRs did he receive? So DRs is like infractions, right? I'm not sure if we received a DR in 2024, but you said his behavior. So was this decision made in 24, from 2021, 2022, 2023? An accumulation. All right, so just unilaterally say we're going to take this accumulation of everything you've done and move you to Paul Rein. That was a decision. I believe he got moved to Paul Rein after the incident that I can't talk about because it's an open investigation. I believe that's when the decision was made to move him to Paul Rein and the emergency response team will watch him. Does Melly's team really not know what he did? Melly didn't tell them yet? Oh wait, he can't. They're struggling to really talk to him. In private, specifically. What exactly did he do with this investigation? What was his part? I can't talk about it. Did he actually have an active part in this? I can't talk about it. It's an open investigation. In May 24, did Mr. Demmons have access to a phone? I don't think so. He was actually indicted, right? By information for witness tampering? I believe so. And when was that? I'm not sure. Could have been a year before this investigation, May 24. I'm not sure. And if I told you it was actually a year before, okay, that he was charged with tampering, Ms. Bucklew, I'm going to object to misstatement of evidence. The fuck? How do these past incidents escalate in May 24 to him being moved? I don't understand what you're asking me. Tell me something that he did in March of 24 to get in trouble. I don't have anything on me right now to be able to answer that. In jail, if an inmate does anything, if they don't receive a DR, that doesn't mean they didn't do it. But hasn't Mr. Demmons been housed alone in the main jail now since April of 22? Not alone. He was in a cell by himself, but he was in a unit with other people. And who's in that unit with him? Who's in the unit with him now? I don't think there's anybody in the unit with him now. So he's been in a whole unit by himself in a cell. Maybe since April, no, not April, May, when he went to Paul Rein, and when he went back to the main jail by himself again. When he was in Paul Rein, whose decision was it to take the door off the cell? There's no door in the cell in Paul Rein. It's an open dorm. So open dorm, how about when he used the bathroom? Could you look at him while he was using the bathroom? No. Where did he go to the bathroom at? In the unit, it's an open bay unit. The cells, one next to each other, and then the bathroom's on the right-hand side of the unit. I'm going to object at this point, Ms. Bucklew says. What does this have to do with his involvement in the case? Because that's what this depot is for. Miss Liberty, you guys listed him. Ms. Bucklew says for tampering, involved with searching the cell. So all this stuff, this seems to be civil suit stuff. This is not for deposition. Aldecine says, well, she can object, but he can still answer. Ask the questions. Miss Liberty, anything that could lead to reasonable discovery is open game right now. So can you say your objection for the record? We can bring it in front of the judge. Aldecine, let's take a break. Miss Liberty, what was your interaction? Did you remember a shakedown Mr. Demmons' cell? I don't remember the date, but yes, I remember doing a shakedown. Why? We got intel that Mr. Demmons could have paper-soaked dope in his cell within his legal work or anywhere else in his cell. Wherever he had paperwork. Paper-soaked dope. That is some sketchy shit. So it sounds like someone snitched on Melly about having paper-soaked dope. We also got intel that he had several kites. A kite is a piece of paper that a note from one inmate to another, and it's folded in a way to be able to pass through another inmate. Do you know when you got this intel? I don't remember. Do you have anything to do with the shakedown of his cell that happened in April of 22 where he was accused of having handcuff keys? I don't remember if I was or not. How do you not remember that or not? When you say me, you're talking about me specifically? Yeah, specifically. I conducted a shakedown of the cell. I don't have this report though, and I did a public records request for BSO for this intel about dope. So how did you get this intel? Was it a complaint? One of my deputies within the unit was conducting an interview and he was given the information. So myself and Deputy C went and did a shakedown. Carrera? Is that how you pronounce that? Deputy Carrera walked into the cell and we had Mr. Dimmons step out of the cell. I went and grabbed all legal work within the cell, and in front of Mr. Dimmons I went page by page looking at every single page, looking for soaked paper dope. Does paper soaked with dope, does it look different? Yes. Like what would you be looking for? If you grab this piece of paper and it looks white when you wet it, right? Just say you wet it, it would be yellow. It's not that it turns yellow, it's just gonna have a different way of it. It's gonna have a different form. So if it's soaked in this paper dope, once it dries, it's gonna look different from what it originally looked. This is confusing the way this is worded, but whatever. What legal paperwork did he have? It was a stack of papers that he had. It was legal stuff. And what did he find? I did not find anything. What was the determination of the report? They didn't do a report. The reason we did not is because we did not find any paper dope. Deputy Carrera found 2 mix match. I don't know how to say the word. He made a phone book. He had quite a few kites and letters that were not from him. They were from other inmates, so we confiscated that. How did you know they were from other inmates? Because a lot of them said they were from certain inmates to him. And he provided these to the state attorney. We took the stuff, and in front of Mr. Dimmons, I told him that these 2 little phone books were altered and they were contraband. And we were taking the kites and contraband. So it made the phone books contraband, that he altered it. So in that case, I have a piece of paper. Excuse me, you guys can chime in. When we literally used to do that game with the paper to write names, you pick one, it tells you something, right? So that would be contraband. So if I go to a unit and he has this piece of cardboard that I'm showing you, and he does a chessboard and he puts a chessboard and he gets a little piece of paper from it, yes, we can take that because he altered it. Whatever, dude. That's bizarre. Did you give him a DR? I did not. Did Carrera give him a DR? I don't think he did. I don't think it was 2023. I think it was this year. You said April, right? So in 22 with the handcuff keys situation, someone snitched on Melly saying that he said his lawyers were gonna get him out like of jail and have an escape, slipping keys to him or something. Wait, or is this separate? Handcuff keys. Is this another incident? There's so many incidents. Was there an accusation of him having handcuff keys in his cell? I'm confused. Punishments, it could be 5 days, 10 days, 0 to 30 days, lockdown, loss of all privileges. They can give him 15 days of lockdown, loss of privileges with 15 days of probation. So in the next 15 days after lockdown, if he does something else, then he would have to serve the rest of the time. Lockdown means basically everything, no commissary, no phone calls, unless you're talking to your attorney. So when you get locked down, you get a dorm to yourself. No, there's a couple of units within the main jail. All the jails that have a lockdown area. Is there anybody in his dorm in the unit he's in? He's by himself in the unit. Was there ever time that if Mr. Dimmons came out of the cell, all of their mates and the other units had to go back in? Not all the other units, but the unit that he was in. Well, right now there's nobody in his unit, correct? So you're saying prior. Prior, yes. So if he came out, no one else could be out. Why? I want to say that he's in admin segregation. The fuck? So when he came out of his cell, everyone had to go back in their cell. Admin segregation. That's crazy. I want to say it's on a point system. Where would I find in your handbook this point system that you're talking about? I don't think it's on there. So it's just an arbitrary rule. Dude, these jails, man. Made up for my client. No, I didn't make it up. I was never, well, not you, sorry. I wasn't even speaking about your client right now. We're talking about other inmates on the floor. I told you putting Mr. Dimmons to the side. There came a time Mr. Dimmons was not allowed to read the newspaper. Why? I don't know anything about that. There came a time when he was not allowed to watch TV. Why? I don't know anything about that. And we know he doesn't use the phone, correct? Correct. So he's still being housed alone in the main jail right now. Your client was on a different circumstance, ma'am. We already spoke about this. No, we didn't. So what is the circumstance? The accumulation of stuff that he did prior is what got him to be by himself. And it's an open investigation, so I can't talk about it. I mean, I've told you this like 17 times during this deposition. Oh my god, man. What is going on? Can we go off the record real quick? What? They want off the record for a minute? So when I read this handbook, and from your testimony, it's safe to say there's no actual rule about the treatment of Mr. Dimmons, is there? I don't know what you're asking me. You're saying it's an accumulation of things that he's done. Again, objection to relevance regarding anything that occurred after the tampering charges. For the record, it's not. He was part of the report that detective or deputy Carrera wrote where he did the shakedown, which is what I thought he was here for. Nothing in that handbook talks about this punishment Mr. Dimmons is currently getting, is there? I don't know. That's crazy, right? Their handbook of rules for the jail. There's nothing that correlates to Melly's punishment. 100 infractions though. It's insane. Has there ever been another inmate in Broward County jail system that you treated similar to Mr. Dimmons? In what way? Well, years ago, you guys had an inmate that tried to escape. Yes. He never lost his phone privileges, did he? I don't know. I don't remember. He was actually charged with multiple tampering charges, wasn't he? I don't know. But he never lost his phone privileges, did he? I think he did, actually. Right. Was it forever or was it for 30 days? I don't remember. Was there ever a situation because Mr. R, we tried to break out of the jail, right? Did you guys move him to Paul Rein? No, I don't think so. So there she just pointed out the hypocrisy right there. This guy actually did escape from jail. And he also got multiple tampering charges, but he only lost his phone privileges for 30 days, it seems. All right, boys, that's pretty much it. Every time I make a video on this, I can't believe here we are 6 years later. It makes no sense. Actually, 0 sense. Comment down below what you guys think about this whole situation. Hit subscribe. Love you guys. Peace out.